resurrection. Before I proceed, I want to get 100% acceptance from each and every one of you that the resurrection will be spiritual as Paul says, it will be spiritual as Jesus says, not this body. You all agree? Is there any dissenting voice? Yes? What do you say? Right, I will answer that. So we go to that upper room, as our brother has quoted. That's Luke chapter 24, verse 36. See, Jesus walks into that upper room. According to the scriptures, I'm only reading the Bible, what it says. I'm not reading the Quran. I don't say the Quran says this, the Quran says that, or you know, some Imam Ghazali said such and such a thing. Now, our brother quoted scripture. He quoted Luke chapter 24, verse 36. So I said, let's go to that to satisfy him. That the resurrected bodies is just the exact opposite what Paul said. What Jesus is telling you there is exact opposite. Is exact opposite of what Jesus told you. You see, Jesus walks into that upper room where they had the Last Supper, after his alleged crucifixion. And he goes in and he wishes his disciples, Shalom Alaikum in Hebrew. In Arabic, Salam Alaikum. In English, peace be unto you. When he said, peace be unto you, his disciples were terrified. So I'm asking, why were they terrified? Because when you meet your long-lost master, your uncle, your grandfather, the Arab and the Jew, you might have seen some of us performing, you know, we embrace one another, we kiss one another. The Jews did the same. So instead of embracing Jesus and kissing him, as the Jews and the Arabs do, they were terrified. I want to know why were they terrified. It's very unusual. When you meet your master, your ustaz, your guru, whatever it is, why should you be terrified? So Luke tells us that they were affrighted because they thought he was a spirit. I'm only quoting. They thought he was a spirit. They thought. So I'm asking, did he look like a spirit? Did he look like a spirit? And in 40 years, no Christian worth the name has told me yes, not one. I said, did he look like a spirit? They says no. I said, why should they think the man is a spirit when he didn't look like a spirit? You will have your time at question time. At question time, you'll be given the opportunity.
Would you see, brothers, there is a question time. Would you please
no, sir.
Keep quiet till he finishes his talk, and you are free to ask him what you like.
My brother, I'm misunderstood. This was a rhetoric question. I wasn't asking you, I was only rhetorically speaking. So, I said, why should they think the man is a spirit when he didn't look like a spirit? So the answer is that the disciples of Jesus, they had heard that the master was hanged on the cross. They had heard that he had given up the ghost, in other words, he had died. They had heard that now he's dead and buried for 3 days. A man with such a reputation, you expect him to be stinking in his grave. Such a person, when you see, naturally you are terrified. It's a natural reaction, because Mark chapter 14, verse 50, he tells us that at the most critical juncture in the life of Jesus, فَتَرَكَهُ الْجَمِيعُ وَهَرَبُوا, and that they all forsook him and fled. They were not there. They were not eyewitnesses or ear witnesses to the happenings. All, I'm asking the Englishman, does all mean all in your language? He said yes. I asked the Zulu in my country, does bonke mean bonke in your language? He said yes. I said, you Afrikaner, does almal mean almal in your language? He said yes. Does kulli mean kulli in your language, you Arab? He said yes. So that they were not there. That's what Mark tells us. So because their knowledge was from hearsay, they had heard about a man dead and buried for 3 days, they expect him to be stinking in his grave. So when you see such a man, naturally you are terrified. So Jesus wants to assure them that is not what they're thinking. They're thinking he's come back from the dead, resurrected. So he says, Unzuru ila yadayya wa rijlayya. Says, behold my hands and my feet. Inni ana huwa. That it is I myself. I'm the same fellow man. Damn fools. What are you afraid of him for? Husuni wanzuru. Handle me and see. فَإِنَّ الرُّوحَ لَيْسَ لَهُ لَحْمٌ وَإِزَامٌ. For a spirit has no flesh and bones, as you see me have. And they felt him, and they believed not for joy. I'm only reading. And they believed not for joy, means that they were overjoyed and wondered, what happened, man? We thought the man was dead and buried. So he says, أَإِنْدَكُمْ هَاهُنَا طَعَامٌ. Have you here anything to eat? فَنَاوَلُوهُ جُزْءًا مِّن سَمَكٍ وَشَيْئًا مِّن شَهَدِ عَسَلٍ فَأَخَذَ وَأَكَلَ قُدَّامَهُ. And they gave him a piece of broiled fish and a honeycomb, and he took it and he ate in the very sight. To prove what? That he's resurrected? To prove that you got flesh and bones, you eat food. What is he proving? That he is a spiritual body? Are these the needs of a spiritual body? Paul says, no. The resurrected body is spiritual. Jesus says, I'm physical. I'm asking the Englishman, because I understand English better than other languages, I said, please tell me, in your language, if somebody tells you that because I have flesh and bones, me, I'm not a spirit, I'm not a ghost, I'm not a spook. Is that what it means in your language? I said, because I have flesh and bones, I'm not a spirit, I'm not a ghost, I'm not a spook. Is that what it means in your language? He says, yes. I said, in other words, he's telling you that the body that you're seeing, it is not a translated body, it is not a metamorphosed body, it is not a resurrected body. Because you will be given a chance, because the resurrected bodies get spiritualized. Who says so? I said, Paul. Who says so? I said, Jesus. Now you contradict them, contradict Paul, that look, Paul, you got it all wrong. Now Paul had a reason for believing that Jesus was resurrected spiritually. The reason is that he was on the Damascus road. He was persecuting the early Christian. And on the Damascus road, he sees a vision. Great light, and he hears a voice. In the book of Acts, chapter 9, verse 7, chapter 22, verse 9, chapter 26, verse 14, you read there about this incident. In this vision, he sees a great light and he hears a voice calling him in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Why kickest thyself against the pricks? Saul, Saul. That was his name. But of course, our Latinized brethren, the Greeks, they turned it into Paul. See, St. Paul's Cathedral, it should be St. Saul. Saul was his name, but you know, for complexes that people suffer from, subject people, they changed Paul, Saul to Paul, they Simon, Cephas to Peter, you see. However, that is not the point here. The fact is, he tells us that the people that were with him, they heard the voice, but they didn't see anybody. So this was the vision that Paul had, either hallucination or a genuine vision. I'm not contesting, a genuine vision. But it was intangible. It was spiritual. It was not physical meetings. So come on, shake my hands, and you can feel me that it's me. So no. It was something that was, he appeared, as he says, he appeared unto Peter. Paul testifies. Jesus appeared unto Peter, he appeared unto the 12, he appeared unto the 500, he appeared to James, and last of all, he appeared unto me. Appeared. In other words, it's not a physical meeting. It is not a factual, solid meeting. It was not a tangible meeting. This was something that he saw spiritually, and he imagined that what he had seen spiritually, all the others had similarly seen spiritually. So from that he concluded that Jesus died and was resurrected spiritually. And on that theme, the whole of the 14 books are based on a spiritual resurrection of Jesus, which Jesus Christ contradicts. Jesus himself, he contradicts that I am that same man.